101.5 the KATT, KATT. J. Ramone, No Brown M&Ms Podcast. We are live. Diamond Ballroom. Gemini Syndrome playing live tonight, and I am sitting here with some guys that have a brand new record. I've got Corky from Code Red Riot, and why don't you introduce everybody for me?
Well, this is Taz here on guitar.
Hi.
All the other guys introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Waz.
What do you play?
Bass.
I'm John. I play drums.
That's us, Code Red Riot. Did you say this is called the No Brown M&Ms Podcast?
That's exactly what it's
That
called.
is genius.
Do you like that?
I like that a lot.
My partner in crime is at another show right now, and then he'll be on the air later. Otherwise, he would be here.
Is he doing the No Green M&Ms Podcast?
No,
it's still Brown.
We do a weekly segment every week where we talk about the shows we've seen that week and new records and stuff like that. But then all of our artist interviews go up there as well.
Love it.
So we've got 17 physical episodes, but when you include all the interviews, we're like at episode 60 or so.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Well, we're proud to be here. Thank you for having us.
Now, I met you, 4 years ago in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
Yes, indeed. I've played Ardmore a few times with a guy named Frankie Perez, and I know we've run into you down there several times.
And his band's kind of like a Vegas all-star group.
Yeah, because he rotates us through a bunch, depending upon who's available and who's in town, that kind of thing. I played drums with him several times, and then our friend Chris Brady, who's in Hell Yeah, I also played guitar with him a bunch, and Grant Fitzpatrick from the Cult also played here the last time we were down. So it's a fun band to play with.
Yeah, and you did the production on the last EP you put out,
EP,
right?
Yeah, I mixed it, and I know you've spun that on KATT, so thank you very much. Absolutely.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's where the relationship began, and we started talking about your solo project that you were writing and recording at the time.
Indeed.
It ended up being Code Red Riot. What was that process like because you self-released it at first or got the single spun on a few stations on your own, and then a label stepped in board, and then it was like a year later we finally get the full product.
That's pretty much it. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, yeah, because there was no plan when this thing started. I was writing some songs and recording them and posted one video with lyrics just to show that I was doing something and thought it might be fun to put out there. And like you said, it started getting spun on both satellite radio and terrestrial radio, and then the record label stepped in and said, hey, we want to do this and really push this band and push this record and get it out there. So we ended up re-recording everything, and like I said, the record just came out. It's called Mask, and it's on all digital platforms because record labels are very excited about digital these days. Not very excited about CDs. They want the Spotify streams, they want the Apple downloads, they want the Amazon downloads. So find it online, Code Red Riot, you'll see it there.
Well, it's all changing, like Target, Best Buy, Walmart, your big box retailers, they're not even going to have physical product as far as CDs go in their stores after July.
Yeah, and you know what? It was funny, like when they told me they didn't really want to press CDs at all, I was totally floored. But again, my fault because I hadn't gone into a Best Buy, right, to buy a CD. I would buy them on Amazon or that kind of thing. And then I walked into a Best Buy and I was like, oh my God, this is like a graveyard here. Like all their new releases are 3 or 4 months old. Everything else is a classic release. And
there's not one person in there who can tell you where anything is, even if it says online, hey, we've got this CD in stock. And you go, and there's like, well, we don't know.
It literally looked like they hadn't vacuumed that area in a few months.
That was my last experience.
Yeah.
I literally looked it up online, then called the store because I didn't want to drive all the way across town because they were the only one that had it. Nope, I left empty-handed.
Yeah,
I was mad.
I went there. I walked in for the new Nothing More album, and that was when I was like, oh my God, there's nothing here. So
when there's not one guy in the store who even knows what you're talking about, nor could he point a CD player for sale in the store, there's a problem.
Exactly. Well,
iTunes just announced that they're going away from the buying model into the subscription-based model.
Yeah.
How does that change things? Like for my generation, you wanted that physical product in your hand, and then if you bought it at a show, you bought it from the band directly, and you got to get it autographed or something like that.
Exactly.
And you can't really do that.
Dude, the label's so not in a rush. We still don't have our physical copies of the CD. They're coming in next week. And the record will have been out 2 weeks before we actually get the physical CDs to sell. So, that situation is what it is. I had to post lyrics online on our website, because there's no digital booklet to print them in, any of that kind of stuff. So it's a whole new model, and 2018 really seems like a transitional year for all of that kind of stuff. So, when you're on a label, honestly, you don't really make a lot of money from record sales anyway. You're reimbursing the record label for the money they put up front for you to record your record. So for us, it's hitting the road, it's playing shows, it's selling merchandise, is meeting the fans, and if we're not signing CDs, we're signing T-shirts or posters or hats or whatever. So that's really been the model since the last band I was in too. So it's the same thing. We're just hitting the road now. This show in Oklahoma City is the first show on our tour period to support this album, and it's all starts here.
So after Gemini Syndrome, stay on the road?
Yeah, we have a couple weeks off in August, and then we hit the road with Smile Empty Soul and Flaw, which hits a bunch of the West Coast and the Midwest and down to Texas, that kind of thing. And then there's some shows with Buckcherry that I think are getting added on the end of that, and then we're figuring out what's happening in the wintertime now.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited because I've been listening to this since you first put it up.
Yeah, you have like the demos, right?
Yeah,
Like the early
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
So I've been kind of patiently waiting for this, and then when I saw John posting about Rocklahoma that he was coming, and I didn't know which project was going to be there.
Yeah, totally.
But I started messaging on Facebook like, hey, which project is coming? Because I was kind of excited. I thought for a minute that the label was going to put you guys on Rocklahoma.
Yeah, there's been a little talk of that stuff. It's still all up in the air, man, and we're just we're a brand new band, so we're happy for whatever shows come up, and we're just hitting the road and hitting it hard.
But this isn't new territory for you.
No.
With Otherwise, you went through this from the very beginning stages to growing the band and getting out there and meeting the fans.
Exactly. I was on the road with Otherwise for the better part of 4 years. Now with these guys, it's all new. So, we have the van and the trailer and all that kind of stuff, and I've tried to remember and bring up all the stuff that we learned throughout the course of Otherwise's first 2 years, really, which is where you have all the hard knocks learning on the road. So it's everything from like customizing the van benches into beds and a little hanger rack in the trailer and all this kind of stuff. So it's cool. I'm excited to have these guys on board. A bunch of venues we're playing I've played before with Otherwise, and a bunch of them I haven't. So it's cool to be returning to some of the same spots, and it's cool that there's still a bunch of venues out there that we haven't played. I mean, the Diamond Ballroom's one of them. Never been here before.
Otherwise didn't stop through here? I just
Never
assumed
did.
you guys did.
The only place we ever played in Oklahoma was the Rocklahoma Festival.
Wow.
That was it.
So no Canes, no Brady.
Nope. And I have no idea why. With different booking agent. Maybe it was because of the different booking agent. But, we drove through Oklahoma a lot, going, Texas and north and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Diamond Ballroom is a very historic venue for Oklahoma City. Been here for years and years, and everybody who comes through has played here. And so you get to cut your teeth here tonight.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it, man.
New record from Code Red Riot, Mask, available now. Go stream it, download it, whatever you got to do, and make sure you get to a show while they're on the road with Gemini Syndrome and then Smile Empty Soul and Buckcherry after that. It's No Brown M&Ms Podcast. Jay Ramone on the KATT.